Hello, good evening. Here I am, Ms.B. This is Be Inspired. My name is Ms.B. I'm a hospitality consultant, mentor, trainer, travel professional. I wear many caps. I would not exchange it for any other, but instead collaborate and co-create in order to impact further. It's a pleasure to be here again this week on this episode of Be Inspired. For the benefit of those of you that are just coming for the first time and might be watching this now or later, what is Be Inspired? Be Inspired is a platform to inspire, to inform, and to motivate. Motivate young millennial females in this career space I have coined Hospitality, Aviation, and Tourism HAT. It's a platform to give the general public also crystal clarity about the fact that this career path is a professional career path. Besides, to debunk all the myths and doubts or confusion that young females aspiring, studying, or working might be having. In addition, Be Inspired is here to project voices unheard and unrecognized, to give young female millennials a platform to share their career journey and story as well. Be Inspired doesn't just leave it at that. Be Inspired also hosts professionals and role models in the industry so that they can share their perspective about the potentials and prospects in this industry, unknown still and untapped. So every week is always a delight to be here hosting one more female voice to share her career journey and story. So today, I am going to be waiting and having a conversation with another fantastic female in this career space. So while I wait for her to log in and be with us in today's conversation, let's see if we get some housekeeping done. So welcome yet again to another episode. Yours truly here, Ms.B. So waiting for my guests, and let's see if I get her to come on board soon. Please bear with me. I hope I haven't done anything to keep her from being with us. So waiting. In a few moments, if I don't see her come on board, I would definitely have to check. So please just bear with me. Just occur to me that I hope I haven't made some things of the app. So I hope, sorry about that break. So I hope she will be with us in a moment, and I hope some of you will be coming on board soon and letting us know that you can hear us and you can see us very clearly. So here we are, another week. I hope you've had a fantastic week unfolding and still unfolding, and you are discovering many things in hospitality if that's your space, or in other spaces as well. So fantastic. So we can't say enough on this platform about the fact that our industry is still unfolding, is still onboarding so many opportunities and possibilities. Lots going on, lots still to be done. And I'm sure each one of us will have or has a story to say or has a story to tell where they are, foot pinches or concern lies, really. So there are many things still to do with our industry that we need to definitely improve. Africa, big. The free trade zone coming up also, and that is going to give opportunity to movement of goods, services, and people. And the question is, are we going to be ready? Are we going to be relevant? Are we going to be able to key into that opportunity also and do all that it takes to be able to carry our industry forward? So still, I'm here waiting for the most important person today, my guests. Bear with us. And I will probably step out again and try to see what's going on. I hope there's no hitch from her side. Bear with me a moment. Thank you. Right, so I hope. Oh, there she is. Let's see. TK, if you can hear me, I think you still have to send. Okay, let me just try something. Hold on a moment. Let's see. Okay. Request now. Oh, fantastic, fantastic. Nice to see you. Can you hear me very clearly?
Very clearly.
Okay, I don't know why my earpiece is a bit interesting, I must say. Let me see. Just a moment. Let me just get my volume right. But you can hear me very well.
Yeah, I can.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. So I think at the moment it's just us, but I am just going to go ahead so that others will probably join as we go on. So my dear audience, like I said, the most important person today is here on Be Inspired. It's a privilege and an honor to be hosting her today. And without much ado, I'm going to just, after that introduction I've done about Be Inspired, is here to champion female inclusion and to give a voice to those that haven't been heard or haven't been recognized so that they can share their career journey and story. So on that note, my dear guest, I would ask her to briefly introduce herself, her state, and to tell us what we don't know about her that you might have read about on my platform already. So on that note, TK, over to you.
Uh, Everyone, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, depending on what country you're in. My
Great.
name is Atinike Stanley Pepple, Mrs. Initially Atinike Daudu, and I'm a commercial air pilot in Nigeria with a background in law, and I'm very passionate about youth. And what else to say?
Many things that we are going to talk about this evening. So don't worry, but at least you've made us understand one or two things and we're very excited. Great.
Mm,
So TK, as I call her, I would want to start by asking, gradually things. And
yeah,
because I needed to host you and I'm very much interested in getting to know my guest. Somewhere
yes.
it says that you grew up, in a family of pilots, brothers, father, sister. So please, can you share with us, did that influence your career choice in any way?
That's
And
a good
how?
question. We're going straight to aviation. Okay, no problem. So yes, my brother I have one brother, but actually, so I was just coincidentally a message just popped in. And even my close, like he's like a brother to me. We all grew up together. He's also in the aviation
Right.
sector, a helicopter pilot. But yes, my biological brother, my only brother, he's a pilot as well. My dad is a pilot. My sister is a pilot. My husband is a pilot. So, yes, that's my family. But I so how I think I grew up seeing that, and I'm the first child. So the first person I would say was my dad, who was a pilot, and I grew up, flying everywhere within Nigeria. But I wouldn't say that was what maybe it stirred it up without me knowing, because that's what I had seen growing up. But that wasn't really what.
I know there was something else which we will get to, but I'm just asking if there was any family influence from that. Yeah.
Kind of the irony. So let me say this. The irony actually is that growing up, I remember very clearly. I actually just had a conversation with somebody. I was talking to one of these. I won't call it a mentee, but maybe I'll talk about that further down.
Okay.
But when I was younger, I remember very clearly, I was still in high school, and my dad asked me what I wanted to be, in future.
Right.
And he
Yeah.
said, the actual irony is that he said he always wanted his children to be what they wanted, and it didn't have
Right.
to be pilot. So anything, because he had been in that position where he had told when they asked him, oh, what you want to be, he said what he
Right.
wanted to be. But they didn't believe it because at that time it seemed very odd, you want to be a pilot,
Right.
how? So for him, he was more about, whatever my children want to be, I'm going to support it. I'm going to be, right by their side. But, growing
Fantastic.
exactly, that's the irony. But growing up actually in
Right.
high school, so he asked me, he said, what do you want to be when you grow up? I said, oh, I want to be a banker because I like the way they dress. I want to be
I love that.
the honest truth is, and I'm saying I'm opening up to like I'm saying this part because I
Yeah.
think a lot of people they you don't have to know what you want to be at the get-go. That doesn't apply to everybody. Some
Yeah.
of us discover it over, as the journey unfolds. So I mean that's what you were referring to as the other side of the story. But
Yeah.
he wanted me to dig deeper into myself and know, okay, what do you want to be and why do you want to be that. And at that point I said I wanted to be a lawyer, and this one was I wanted to be a lawyer because I wanted to defend people who couldn't defend themselves. I can't, and that's even it's because I think then as a child I was thinking of a career as, oh, what can I do to make money, not so much my purpose in life. What is that thing that speaks to me naturally? And being a lawyer for me is just even if I wouldn't even if it wasn't a job, it's something I do naturally. So just getting the certification, getting the training just allows you to do it professionally. So yeah, a little bit of
Fantastic. Fantastic. Thank you for that briefing. And now, following on from that, really, some people listen to a pastor, some people listen to just anybody, and life sort of like, you move in another direction. I know
Mhm.
you said you listened to Air Marshal Paul Dickey and it influenced your career journey. So please share with us then.
Okay, so how I now decided to become a pilot. So I was already studying law. I was in my fourth year, coincidentally, and we had the Air Vice Marshal Paul DK at the time come into the school for it was like what I call it it wasn't I won't call it convocation ceremony, but it's like a convocation ceremony for the medical students. So he came to speak, to the students in the school then. And normally I don't go for these ceremonies because I'm like, so, but
Exactly.
this particular day, like I saw the banner, and they put his name, and I don't know why I was just excited. I was like, and I told I was in the taxi on my way to the hostel, so I told my friend, I was like, we have to go for this, like, oh my god, and she just bought into my excitement, and she was on board. So that day,
Right.
I remember very clearly, I wore my white uniform because we will have to wear white shirt and black skirts as lawyers and all. And I had this very big pimple here. I had really bad acne then, and I didn't care what the acne was on my face. I was like, I'm going. I sat down in front, wore my best white shirt. I was there looking really excited. I was very happy and all that. And everything
Yeah.
he was saying, I was glued to it. And immediately after that convocation ceremony, I called my dad. I was like, I want to join the Air Force. So he's like,
Just like that.
just like that. I just called. I was like,
Wow.
Daddy, the Air Force, and I was in my fourth year studying law. So he's like, "Ah, okay, no problem. When you come home, we'll talk about it." So that was the beginning of my aviation journey. But I did
Wow.
my studies in law. I finished my fifth year, went to law school, and it was
Right.
after law school he was like, okay, so what do you now want to do? And I think this is the don't. I think a lot of youths need to not fall into the hype syndrome because the hype then actually was after law school go to do master. So again he asked me, oh, what do you want to do now? So I was like, me, I've even forgotten about the aviation thing. So I was like, all of my friends are going to do masters. You don't want to be the one left out, right? So I'm like, I want to do master. But what about the aviation thing you mentioned before? Why don't we? I was like, okay, actually, that's true. Why don't we? And then that's the thing. So I think the
Wow.
lesson I want anyone watching this here, because we have a lot of trends going on all the
Yeah.
time. If it's not
Yeah.
makeup, which is gorgeous, wonderful. If it's something you really, really like, go for
Mm.
it. Don't just
Yeah.
go for the next trend because there are always going to be trends. Stick to what you're passionate about and stay true to it, refine it. I can see a makeup artist here. She's actually excellent by Lodge. I met her when I went to do my makeup actually at the mall, and
Right.
you know, beyond that, it's there's a if you're born to do something, you will tell. It's not
Yeah.
you can tell if somebody is doing something because they're born to do it. It's inside of them. It's something they like, and
Yeah.
somebody who is doing it, and then the next best trend, you go for it. I know a lot of people who are fashion designers I see on the internet, and they are doing immaculate jobs. But don't
Mm.
just jump into it because it's the next best thing, and then the next best thing comes and you jump onto that. No, find what you're genuinely passionate about, build that skill, build it, build it, build it, build it, and you make a living from it. So yeah, that's my
Fantastic,
little.
fantastic. Now, having said so, TK, what
Yeah.
would you advise in terms of parental support? How was yours?
To be honest with you, I did have parental support, luckily. But the truth is that you'll not always get that. And if there's any parent here that's listening to this, it's good to find out what your child likes. The truth is it depends. It depends. Because for example, in my case, I wasn't at the beginning, I was like, oh, I want this, oh, I want, and the irony in life actually is that I'm that child that there's so many things I like. So
Right.
out of the flying thing, from there I discovered, oh, I have this passion for, because even in high school my classmates used to call me mommy, because I will always advise. I'll be like, make sure that you're the best in class. Can't you see your friend did it? We're all age mates, but I always had that thing, and that's what now birthed the, I don't know what I should call it, a ministry, but my passion for the youth. And that's why I like to do talks like this, and what I'm doing with my
Fantastic.
Instagram and all of that.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Great, great. Now, with that said, let's come back to your two amazing career paths. How did you manage to do these two courses, seamlessly? Share with us briefly.
Okay, the good thing with the career choice was I had done one and then went to another. And I think a lot
Okay.
of people have the perception that for you to be in the aviation sector, you have to have a background in science, which is not true. My background is arts. I was in arts class in high school, and then from arts I studied law, and then from law I went to the aviation sector. And the thing with the aviation sector is it's the basics, so it's not like you're doing calculus or some intense mathematics. It's just, I mean, if you passed your high school, you have your high school degree, then you can definitely go into it. So I think that's one of the benefits of being in the aviation sector. It allows the transition from, if you were in commercial, if you're in science, you're in arts, that you really did help me. So yeah, and
Wow.
thank you.
Fantastic. You said?
No, I was saying thank you to everyone who joined, because they're
Oh,
too cool.
yes, 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 definitely. So now, having said so as well, TK, I'm sure it gives you leverage, the two. So with the two, what have those two courses helped you to sort of get involved with that is
Very
sort of
good.
interesting at the moment? Yes.
That's a very good question, actually. I like that. So, and I like that you use the word leverage. So, I think a lot of times, especially in times like this now, we have a lot of people who, so say for example, let me look for maybe a fashion designer or an influencer. Let me use an influencer, for example. We have an influencer who is on Instagram, maybe product or lifestyle influencer, but the person has a degree in accounts. So don't just drop that certificate in the closet because you're not employed as an accountant. Find a way to leverage that accounting into what you're doing. So that's what I'm doing technically, because I think there are a lot
Fantastic.
of, yes, there are a lot. Well, I won't say there are a lot, but there there's quite a number of pilots. But I think what makes me stand out a little more is because of my background in law. And in any facility I find myself, I always you would always see that. So for example, we're in a group, some female pilots, and when it comes to the documents, most times they will say, oh, TK, why don't you read it? Because I have that background in law, and I had to peruse a lot of documents with my background. So you always have to chip it in. It's like you're bringing more to the table. Or it's just like, let me use the example like a wife. You have other skills. So yes, you can cook. Yes, you can clean. Yes, you can bring some extra money to the table. Yes, you can do. It's just I don't see, oh, I'm a pilot and then don't include the law. So for example, another thing, good. This is something that I need to mention now. Being
Right,
a woman and a woman who's building a family, the
right.
thing is you can't fly throughout the period of your pregnancy. So what tends to happen is that your degree helps you be positioned in another department in the airline. So they would
Fantastic.
look into, yeah, so they would look into your CV and say, okay, what other what do you call it? What other degree
Other
do you have?
fields. Yeah.
Yes, and they use that to put you in a department while you can't finish. So it does help.
Fantastic, fantastic, fantastic. Now, having said so, TK, please share with us also how has really law impacted on you as a person and also the aviation space as well.
Very good question again. So actually, I was. This is a very good question. I'm going to say this story actually. Yes, I was in a company. And ironically, this person was my. I want to share this as a. Would I call it a lesson or a story? I'll share the points why I'm sharing this story, so that anyone who's listening to it can learn. So what happened was I had finished my training, but I wasn't working yet, and I was at home and I was like, but I'm not doing anything, and I can't just just be here not doing anything. What do I do? So I I just had a leading in my spirit. I'm going to say it as it is, to call somebody. And that person was my senior in uni. He was 2 years my senior. And he did have a chamber. So I said, oh, why don't I work with you for a little while. And because I had seen the success, I knew when he started the chamber and I knew where he was today. So my point is, and I had seen that he had achieved success. This is somebody who has integrity, he's disciplined, he's hardworking. He has always been like that from school. He was one of the best in his set, actually. I think he was the president of the law department as well. So I
Yeah.
used the opportunity to learn under him, to see what it was like to work in an office to achieve personal success, because I'd seen that, okay, this person, I knew where he started from and where he was now. So why don't I watch under him? And he employed me as a staff. But it was an opportunity to grow because and I'm saying this for a lot of people because there are a couple of youths out there who may be watching this and they're unemployed. Maybe they've gotten their degrees and certificates. What I want to say first, humble yourself. Even if it's humbling yourself to somebody that was your classmate, your neighbor, whoever it is, humble yourself and go and ask for that job. Even if it means, because at the time, what I asked for actually was just to understudy him. Actually, I said, I don't mind if you don't pay me. I want to stand up every morning, get out of my bed, go to the office, see what it's like to be in an office space, learn a thing or two. And I knew immediately I went to the office, I knew that he had standards. There was excellence in every single thing, every detail, including the way you dress. He doesn't allow you wear flats. And he doesn't even matter if you're his friend. There's a standard and there's a standard of excellence that is expected of you, and if you don't meet up to it, he made that very clear from the beginning. He's like, okay, yes, we know each other, but this is business, because you can't mix pleasure with business. You're not going to make money. There's standards, and that standard will spew. If you're not holding up that standard, you're only as strong as your weakest link. If there's one person in the company that is not so strong, you would see it, because the person would either be dragging people back or be making mistakes that are costly. So I quickly learned that, and it was a learning experience every time I get the opportunity to say it. And the irony also told me, he said, yes, okay, I know that you have your flying is what you want to do. This is what you're doing now, but I want to see you grow nonetheless. I'm not the kind of boss who is not going to, like, whatever you need to do to be in it. I want to see you as the best tomorrow. And it's an amazing. It was I think it's the company culture. Who he is as a person. Because I noticed that the company is only as strong as the head, because it's that person that is making the core decisions. And the person can only exhibit what he has in him as a person. So just watching that, I'm saying, okay, this is how he likes things done. This is how, and I'm embodying that. Oh, I want to be that kind of person because I want to be a leader as well. So it really, really set the tone for me for
Yeah.
excellence in what. Yes.
Fantastic. Now, TK, that obviously gives me the impression that you have sort of like acquired a lot of skills and competencies along the way. So please, can you share with us, because I was going to ask you, what are some of the key skills you had sort of acquired as a lawyer and brought on board to the aviation industry that were relevant?
Okay, very good question. Hello to everyone who is here.
Yes, thank you so much. Yeah.
Yeah. So one of the first one is punctuality, and that's the first thing that came to my mind. He was a no-nonsense person. He better not be in the office before you, and he can come. So I don't. He doesn't care how you get there. Make sure. I mean, he does care. Like, don't go and kill yourself or anything. Make sure you have to be like, because for example, if you have to be have a court appearance, the judge is not going to wait for you. People don't want to see
Absolutely.
you coming in during the process or during the proceedings. Same thing
Yeah.
with the aviation sector. You have to be there on time. Like, your passengers are not going to wait for you. You're not coming and tell them, oh, there was traffic. Oh, there's traffic everywhere. Trust me. There's traffic
Yeah.
every single day. But you know that you're supposed to report for duty at a particular time. So do whatever you need to do to make sure that you're there at that time. So punctuality was definitely one of them. Second
Yeah.
one is appearance. So in
Right.
the office with my friend at the chamber, it was very key on how you dress because you're getting clients of different, and the truth is people are going to judge you whether you like it or not and how you're dressed, and they will treat you, and they will first look at you and say, okay, this, they've already calculated everything they want to calculate in their head, and then they will say, okay, this is how they want to treat you. So you already know that, and you can't be preaching to everybody, oh, don't judge me. They're going to judge you.
Yeah.
So you knowing that, make sure you always look good. Like, you don't have to be, it doesn't, you don't have to spend your account, your, like,
Yeah.
empty your bank account to look a certain way. But I
Yeah.
mean, brush your hair, cut your hair, style it a certain way, put some
Yeah.
whatever you, for makeup, do a little bit if you're not, but just look presentable and look exciting, look bright. Another
Yeah.
thing is your personality, your attitude. Nobody wants to know your problems. Keep your
Yeah.
problems. They tell, even at work, and there's one captain in particular that told me this. He said, it doesn't matter what's going on in your personal life. When you get to the car park, you pack all your problems, you put it in the trunk, come down from your car as if nothing happened. When you go back to your car, you pick up your problems if you have any. So I learned,
Absolutely.
yes, and as well in the chamber, because the first person that they see when they come into the company is you, is your face. And the
Yeah.
energy you give up, if I come here and I'm looking so sad and so, oh my God, Nigeria, Nigeria, you're not going to want to be here watching me. But I'm coming here, I'm bright, I'm excited, I'm ensuring that every now and then I'm smiling, because a smile
Mm.
welcomes people into you. They want to hear what you have to say, so that was
Absolutely.
punctuality, discipline. You can't be
Yeah.
caught, you can't be caught on discipline. There's certain things, for example, you have a timeline on when you're supposed to submit a document or an assignment, and you have to stay motivated. It's not easy. It's not easy. There are challenges everywhere. There's nobody that doesn't have any challenge, but you
Yeah.
really, really have to stay motivated. So those are some of the things that, yeah.
Fantastic. Now, TK, I will say these are definitely particular skills that have been very useful along the line. Now, let's go to more nitty gritty things as a female pilot, because there are not many out there. And when you find when you start your career, you find yourself in a space that is male dominated. So,
Mhm.
can you give me an idea and my audience? What are some of the essential skills also you had to build to be on top of your game as a female among males? Really, share with us.
The first one, and there's one that came to my mind first, but I'm going to say this one before that. The first thing is knowledge, because it doesn't matter how confident you look or sound. If you don't know what you're saying, be you're going to just mess up yourself. So get the knowledge about your, like, I remember very clearly when I was in my training, I was the only girl in my class. In fact, there's one picture on my page. You see the whole of the Air Force and the rest of the civilians. And I was the only girl. No, so it was only the Air Force actually. So all the Air Force people in my set, and then me. And at the time, the thing is, the Air Force, obviously, they have a different training. They're more, they have a training in NDA before they come to flying school. So there's an expectation they have for them because of what they have to do. And then, of course, the civilians. And then between the civilians and the Air Force, I was the only girl. So the first thing that I needed to gain was the respect of my peers. And the only way I could get that was by knowing, when I say knowing more, but knowing what, I don't say knowing more per se, but knowing enough. And eventually, in my desire to know enough. I wanted to know more. And in knowing more, I wanted to be the best. I didn't care.
Right.
I had to go before I started when I joined the school because I had heard of some other girls who there's one particular girl I heard about, like she was the best, and she was a girl, she was a Muslim. She used to cover her whole self, her hijab and all that. Like when I'm leaving this school, I must be the next her, like that was the goal I set for myself.
Fantastic.
And
Wow.
by I was able to achieve that. I don't want
Great.
to start seeing the results, but I achieved that goal. But so the first one is the knowledge. The
Right.
second thing is assertiveness because there's one thing to have the knowledge. So at the time, I had the knowledge, but I didn't know that I had the knowledge I had. I didn't
Right.
know my knowledge compared to my peers.
Right.
So I had to build, and then I had to build assertiveness. Like, okay, I'm right, and I know that I'm right. So that's it. And I've had it's the truth. And there have been
Yeah.
times during my training where some of the captains would tell me, because some men, and this is with all due respect, all the men here watching, I love you and I respect you, but I have to say this, there's a perception that I don't know if it's culture or what it is that tends to put out into our minds that because you're a woman, you don't know as much as a man. So what I was having, the challenges I would have during my training is that even if we're in the same class and we're all learning, some of them would feel that they knew more. So the captain noticed it and he said, no, if they knew more, they wouldn't be in this class with you. They'll be your instructors. No, you need to set that boundary. Yes, he told me if it gets to the point where they touch your controls, you can actually hit their hands off because God forbid anything happens. They're going to hold you liable. So you
Yeah.
need to, and it's not so when it comes to the career, it's not about a girl or a guy. It's just somebody. It could even be an animal. I mean, if animals could fly the planes, but it's about the skill and the performance at that time. Like that's what's being judged. That's
Yeah.
what you're being looked out for. Like you need to. It's about the skill. It's not about, oh, for all you know, I can shave my head off. And not have
Yeah.
anything. But it's not about that. It's about
It's the
what
skills
you're
and
doing.
competencies.
Exactly what you're doing
Yeah.
behind the computer. So I did first have to build my knowledge base, and
Right.
secondly, my skill. I had to build that with the knowledge, and then be assertive that I knew what I was, doing.
Fantastic. Fantastic. I love that. I love that. Now, I'm sure a number of people that are listening and will listen later would love to also hear about flying school. So, can you give us an idea? What was your flying school, typically about? Please share with us.
So flying school was actually, considering that I had just talked about flying school. So
Yeah.
my flying school experience was very interesting. Because that was where I found my other passion.
So many passions being discovered.
Hey God, but I'm grateful. I really am.
I
So
feel you.
I realized one of the things. I remember one of my instructors at the time. While I was in the chamber one day, he sent me a message on Facebook, and then he said motivational speaker. So I was like, why did he say that? Like he could have said anything. So why motivational? Why are you saying that? I was like, okay, maybe there was something he noticed while I was doing my training that was kind of like I want to motivate and encourage people. Oh, just keep pushing, just do that. And I think that's one of the things that is very important in flying school because it's not like a regular university where there are like hundreds of people per batch. In my class, actually, we're only three. So that's the civilian class. There was the non-civilian Air Force set, but my civilian class were two guys and one girl. And especially if you're new to the environment, it's nice to, yes, you have instructors, but it's nice to have someone who can, walk you through the stage and encourage you and motivate you. Maybe you do a test and it doesn't really go the way you want, and you're like, oh, what do I do now? It's good to have a mentor, somebody who can, oh, don't worry, it's okay, it's part of the process. And I did have my parents, I had my mom, but it's good to have a professional as well.
All right. Of course. Of course. Of course.
Yeah,
Fantastic. Great.
professional. I think
Now,
where that's where one of the places where I got this passion for what I'm doing now.
fantastic. Fantastic. Now, still on flying school, TK. many people feel that being a pilot is expensive. So can you give us an idea? Where did you do flying school? And is flying school really cheap?
Okay, since you asked me that actually, and for anybody who wants to start, so I'll, should I say this now or I'll say it at the end? Maybe I'll say it at the end.
Okay,
Now, actually, flying school is quite, when I say it's expensive, it's quite an investment. It's expensive. It's a couple of millions in naira. It depends on where you're watching again, like I said, but it's a couple of millions of naira. And especially with the exchange rates now, it was a lot less expensive then because I mean it depends on when you did your training and the conversion rate, but now with dollar going up to thank God I've done my training, honestly, because right now
but some people have to still, weather the storm.
honestly, I'm so glad I am done with that phase.
Right,
But the good thing about flying is, or flight training is that most schools allow you to pay in bits, so you don't have to pay like the lump sum because they understand it's a lot of money, or quite a bit amount of money. So they allow you to pay in bits. So
right,
and it depends on where you do your training as well. Now, to be honest, I think it's good to do research. I wouldn't say don't start your training because of the funds. In as much as it costs quite a bit. If it's something that you're passionate about, start where you are. And that's what I wanted to say eventually because there's something that we have. So if you have any questions of that, you can
fantastic.
send me a DM. What am I saying? A
Right,
DM, and
right,
then yeah, we can talk more about that.
and
But
help.
yes, just and what that offers you is the opportunity to start where you are, and I think that's a brilliant thing. It is an
Fantastic.
investment, like I said. There's some schools I highly recommend. The schools I went to, I highly recommend. The one in Nigeria is amazing. International, it's called IAS, is in Ilorin State, Kwara. It's a very good school. I'm a great alumni. I love them. They love me. I
Fantastic.
keep touch with my instructors every now and then. It's
Fantastic.
very good because it's structured. Make sure that
Fantastic.
what school you're going to, it's a school and there are schools and there are clubs. So that's
Hmm.
another thing.
Hmm.
So that's something that you want to look out for. If you're going to a school, it's easier because they try to create a semester. If you're going to a club, they don't have a semester per se because they understand that some of the people who come to do flight training are people who are working, so their schedules are a bit more here and there. So they allow the self-paced program. But if it's a school, they have like a resumption date and exit date and all of that. Hello to everybody who is joining. Beshi, and it's coming. Let me see everybody.
Yeah,
Hello, hello everyone. Nice
right.
to join us
Do you
this
have
evening.
everybody here? Yeah. Great.
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess you going to say something before that greeted, or there was something else you had. So it could be those options. Okay, fantastic. Right now, TK, other things that I wanted you to share with the audience as well. Somewhere where you had also made some comments, it read the fact that you had to read a lot, think deep, think big, and your people and social and problem solving skills had to improve. When was this and why was developing those skills very crucial then?
So I had to read deep, yes. Is this in regards to law or both of them? Actually, both
Both
of
of
them I
them,
had to.
yeah.
The thing is, if you don't like reading, I'm not going to say this to discourage anybody, but the thing is, as a pilot, even after school, you're going to keep reading. Like we have this thing, it's called like simulator training, where you have to go into a simulator, you do emergencies, and it's like a test. You get graded from it every 6 months, and yeah, you have to read and keep reading and keep reading. And even people who are captains, they're still reading. So it's like if you don't like reading and you want to, join this industry, just start building your love for reading. Problem solving. So I hope I remember everything. You said reading was
Yes,
one.
yes,
So
problem solving, your social skills as well.
social skills. So I think some challenges that we tend to have. It depends on our personality. So I think initially I was a very outgoing person. I think at some point in my life I wasn't as much. And then I came back to like I went back to who I am as a person, which is this outgoing, bubbly. I like to just that's my person. But like you said, I had to develop problem solving and social skills because there's one thing to have knowledge, there's another thing to pour it out and impact and have people want to receive that knowledge that you're giving. If I have the knowledge, but I don't know how to interact in a social environment, I'll be getting frustrated because I know I'm right, but I'm not communicating it in a way that is receptive because people will be like, okay, so who do you think you are? Or why do you think blah blah blah? I have to develop social skills. And okay, it's one thing to have all this knowledge and all these passions and all these things, but if I wasn't sociable, I wouldn't have this platform. I wouldn't be on Instagram. I needed to, for me to impact people, I need to know how to relate with people. And the thing is, developing that skill means understanding that people's personalities differ. So you have your personality, I have my personality, the other person has a personality. And most times, the issues that we tend to have is because what I perceive as reality is not what you perceive as reality. So I'm communicating this, but what you're hearing is just you're putting it to what you understand reality is. So I have to have social skills to understand that. So that if I'm passing an information to you, I want you to get what I'm trying to say, not just. And they say I don't know what the percentage that it is, but I know that they say communication is only maybe 30% what you say. What I'm saying
Less
to
than
you now,
less than that even.
can you imagine? I thought so. So let's imagine that. So all the things I'm saying and how I'm saying it's more important the intonation, like the tonality of what I'm saying, my mannerisms, my gesticulations, the way I move my eyebrows, how I put my head, how I do my hand. That's part of social skills. And then the other one is problem solving. So you would problem solving. The thing is, if you don't want challenges, then it means that you're ready to go and meet Baba Jesus Christ and go to heaven.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Fantastic.
It's
Fantastic.
challenge part of life. And I had to I think it was in flying school I learned more. Like what I used to do is if I meet a challenge, I just know that why I'm having this challenge because I don't have enough knowledge about what I'm being challenged with. So what
Right.
challenge is just a deficiency of knowledge. So I have to
Right.
go back and improve my skill. Okay, well, how can I take personal responsibility? If I have any challenge or something doesn't go the way I want it, then I have to go back to myself and say, okay, what am I doing wrong? What do I need to do right? What do I need to do more of? I have to go back and review that. So problem solving skills. And I don't even really like the word problem, but yeah,
Opportunities.
that's the best. Yes, opportunity. I see it as an opportunity. An
Yeah.
opportunity for growth. Yes.
For growth. Absolutely. Fantastic. Thank you so much for that answer, TK. Now, still on your pilot career, and I want you to enlighten my audience. What is or who is a commercial pilot, and who are the different kind of pilots that we would expect to have? Please share with us.
Okay, awesome. So a commercial pilot is basically anyone who can fly and get an income. So for the training, so I'll start with the training to become a pilot. There's private pilot's license. That means you can fly yourself or your friends, but you can't collect money for doing that. A lot of people have that, so they can just people who it's flying is their hobby. They have their personal aircraft. They do that takeoff, land, but they can't earn a living from it. A commercial pilot is somebody who can fly and get remuneration for that. As a commercial pilot, you can fly for an airline. You can fly you can fly for the Air Force. That's another. Well, the Air Force is different, of course, but so we have the civil, which is I am civil because I'm not flying for the Air Force. I'm not flying for the government, technically. So that's the civil commercial pilot. You can fly for a private owner. So that will not be an airline pilot, but you're a commercial pilot. So let's say somebody who has like maybe Otedola or Dangote who have private jets. You fly for them, you earn a living. You have this called crop dusters. So another it's agriculture
Okay.
or So the commercial industry is very broad. It's not just the commercial airline. So that's, I know I was saying something to someone. I said, "Oh, I'm a commercial airline pilot." And the person said, "Oh no, you shouldn't say commercial airline pilot." And I said, "Well, you need to differentiate because there are commercial pilots who are not airline pilots as well. Like people who have an owner of a private jet does not own an airline, or if you're flying as an instructor, you're a commercial pilot. You're earning a living, but you're an instructor in a school. So you're a commercial pilot, but not an airline pilot.
Fantastic.
And then, yeah, so to become a commercial pilot, you have to. I came late. I just joined. Oh,
You're
welcome.
very
It's nice
welcome.
to see you. Hello,
Yes.
my friend is here.
Right. I'm sure there are many of your friends there that we haven't seen them, but they are there. Thank you so much for joining us. Right. So you were saying,
Yeah, so
so,
you start with the private pilot license, then you have the commercial, and inside the commercial pilot, there's the multi-engine rating and the instruments rating. So you can actually be a commercial pilot without those ratings, technically.
right, really,
Those ratings are things that you have to have if because the thing is, if you don't have those ratings, you're restricted with what you can do. So the instrument flying means you can fly with instruments, you can go higher. Multi-engine meaning you can fly an aircraft that has more than one engine, and that's
right,
how it continues to go. So that's basically
fantastic.
the if you're flying a bigger aircraft is what we will now say a type rating. So what we have in the airlines, you have the Dash 8s, the Boeing 737s, classics, the NGs, the Airbuses, those are type ratings. So when you finish with the commercial training, then you now go into getting a type rating. Yeah.
Fantastic. It sounds all exciting. I'm sure for those that really want to fly, and for us that are listening also, now we will be very conscious when we enter the plane next time. As okay, she must be doing this or doing that. How exciting! Now, still on your pilot career, I know every pilot looks forward to the solo flight. How was your solo flight? Share with us.
Oh my God. I think it's the best question, but this is a very good question. So, hey, so we don't call it a competition. It's not I won't call it a competition, but there's like, would I call it a competition? I don't even know what to call it. But there's this thing, like, how many hours before you go solo? That's one. Then, hey, the day I went solo, God, I was flying with my instructor. I'm literally watching it in my eyes right now. Like, I was flying with my instructor. We did a couple of circuits. So, a circuit is you take off from the runway, you go
Okay.
straight, you turn, you kind of form like no, yeah, like a rectangle, yes. So,
Okay.
you turn, it's called crosswind, then you go downwind, long length,
Okay.
and base. Now, you just keep doing that.
Right.
Um, so we had done a couple of that, and then my instructor just looked at me like, "Do you want to go solo now?" I said, "Huh?"
I like that. Just
Oh
as
my
if you
God!
were driving a motorcycle.
I was like, I was excited, like I was happy, but I was like, "Is this really happening? Like I'm going to be alone in this aircraft? Oh my God!"
Right.
So, bear in mind, oh, those who don't know, it's a small aircraft, yeah, but it's still a big deal. Like you're in the sky, on your own. Like you can't rely on anybody, and they need you to do that so that it builds your confidence, and it's part of
Confident.
the
Yeah.
training.
Yeah.
Really go alone in the aircraft for a while.
Yeah.
So, we came back, we landed, and we came down from the aircraft. I was like, "Oh my God, this is really happening." I was having this conversation with myself. Oh my God, we're really going to go now. And then I texted almost like, would I say I was on autopilot because I had done that procedure so many times, but
Right.
it was the conversation I was having with myself. I was like, oh, this is happening because I had been looking forward to it, and then it
Yeah.
finally happened. When I did it,
Yeah.
I felt like it was the best feeling in my life. After that
Fantastic.
was
Fantastic.
driving. So like I felt amazed. I was like, I did that, like I actually did that. But yeah, that was one of the
Fantastic. Fantastic. Wow. Wow. We are so proud. It looks as if you just now you did it. Fantastic. I can see all the smiles and
God,
the recollection. Now,
oh my,
we still be with that emotion and remembering that. I know that I've read somewhere where it says that you love flying family and friends. How does it feel when you fly family and friends as a pilot?
let me just, this time I'm going to gist mode. I'm going to gist mode. This family and friends one, it's good because okay, I think I had flown with my sister, the one of
Okay,
them. I flown with her, but not even her. So I had friends. In they allow. It depends on the country. So in Canada, they allowed me to do that. In Nigeria, you're not allowed to do that. But in Canada, you. So while I was flying this particular day, I went with one of my friends. We went on. I don't know if I should say this, but maybe
please
I'll
go
give
ahead. So far, nobody is going to be scandalized or get hot. Hopefully.
it's okay, no problems now. So, I had flown with my instructor, and while we were flying, the door opened. We were in the
Oh,
air.
oh, wow.
Exactly. We were in the air, and the door opened. And I was like, huh? Because I could see, like, I could literally see the ground, and I was in the sky, and I was like, what is this man trying to do here? Are you okay, sir? Are you okay? But he had experienced that before, so he was very calm, and we closed the door and we continued to fly. And I was actually, in retrospect, I was actually happy that happened to me because while we were flying, me and my friend, the door opened. And I was like, I don't know what was happening. I do not know what was happening there. I do not know. But it did open. And it's not really a big deal because I mean I went skydiving. So technically in skydiving, there has to be a part where the aircraft is open and you jump. So it's not
Yeah,
the aircraft doesn't just drop because the door opened. And this is a Cessna, so it's a very small aircraft. It's a two-seater. Some of them are four-seaters, but I think this one in particular was a two or four. I'm not even sure now. I can't remember which
right,
one of them, but it's a very
right,
small aircraft. So when
right.
it opened, I was flying my friend. It was good that it had happened to me with my instructor because I knew exactly what to do. I just said, okay, you know what? The aircraft is not going to drop. It's still maintaining its flying abilities. Just let's calm down. We closed the door and we continued the flight. But this person was like, oh my God, oh my God, what's going on? Oh my God. Just
It's
calm
a
down.
prayer point. It's a prayer point moment.
If you have sinned against God, just ask for forgiveness now. Oh God, but no, it was nice to see. It was
Oh
very
my God. Of
honestly.
course.
I'm so happy it had happened to me before because if it
Absolutely.
did,
You
I
might have
wouldn't have
panicked or something.
exactly. So I was
Yeah.
very relaxed. It's like, just calm down. It's not a big deal. Like okay,
We'll
the
close the
aircraft
door back.
exactly. And just close the door and continue the flight. Come when we landed, it's like, oh, the way the person was explaining that, oh my God, the door opened. I closed. I was holding it. I was like, oh, please, just yeah, we don't want it. Oh, it's
Oh my
fun.
God.
Fun.
Right.
Flight.
Wow.
So I remember having my night flight with my friend coming into it's really, really nice. And flying at night is very, very nice, very calm. You don't have as much turbulence. Early in the
Wow.
morning it's much smoother. During the day it's very bumpy.
Right.
That's another story entirely. Aircrafts are very interesting, yes. But
Amazing.
I do
Amazing.
recommend flying earlier in the morning or maybe when it's a lot cooler so you don't have as much turbulence. But yeah, that was my
Fantastic.
one of my experiences.
Fantastic. Another thing I was going to ask you when we were talking about the types of pilots and on the type rating,
Yes.
we get to know that pilots, your qualification and flying a plane has to do with certification, this and that. Can you share with us that angle? What's these things about certificates here and there that people have to get as pilots?
Okay, very good. So it's they're called licenses. It's just like a driver's license. Your ability to maneuver the aircraft, basically. It's like your driver's license.
Right,
So for example, you're driving a car. The license you need to drive a car is not, I don't think it's the same that you need to drive a truck. Like I think you have to do an extra training to drive a truck. So
right,
it's just with having a pilot's license. Now the pilot's license, how do I explain it now? So good. The It starts with the student. The student pilot's license is not as it's not high up there with you have to have it before while you're doing your training to get the private pilot's license. You just need to be a student in training. And you need to have like when you do your medical, you have to be able to speak English because that's what you'll be communicating through the radios. Your medical has to be good, your eyesight. You can wear glasses. You can wear glasses,
Right.
but you must have spare. Your heart rate. They do some tests, ECG, your
Right.
blood sugar, everything. So they check all of that.
Right.
And you have to, there's a period for each class and category of the medical. But
Right.
the you have private pilot's license. Like I said, that license, some people stop there because they just want to fly themselves and their friends and their family. So if you
Right.
want to do it, if it's just for fun and for a hobby, you can stop there. But if it's something that you want to earn a living from, then you go
Right.
into commercial. So the commercial, you now can earn a living. The instruments, you can go higher. So the altitudes that you fly, right? With
Right.
the instruments, and then their weather conditions exactly. With the instruments, you can fly in slimmer weather conditions because your for the private pilot license, you have to have reference from the sky to the ground. So you need to be able to see visual reference. Okay, wherever I am, I can see the ground, you know. But with the instruments, you don't need to be able to see the ground. You just need to be able to interpret the instruments in the cockpit. And then the multi-engine means that aircrafts, because there's some aircrafts that have only one engine, just like the Cessna 152 or 172. They have one engine. But the Piper Aztec, for example, has two engines. The Boeing 737 has two engines. The engines on the Boeing 737 are different from the Piper Aztec. So the multi-engine rating, that one is now called a rating, allows you to fly an aircraft that has two engines. So if you have a private pilot's license, but you don't have a multi-engine, you technically can't fly an aircraft that has two engines because the maneuverability of the aircraft is different. So that's basically
Right.
what
Right.
it's
So
about.
according to what you are flying, your certification sort of matches to make sure that you are competent enough to be able to fly it. Basically.
Exactly.
Fantastic, fantastic. So that sounds that everybody should feel safe anytime they enter a plane because everybody is adequately trained to fly us
Yeah,
safely.
thank
Fantastic,
you for
great,
saying that. Thank
fantastic. Now, TK, coming to some other interesting things still related to your pilot career. You said somewhere, and you mentioned about dressing also somewhere along the line when we are talking this evening. You said you love dressing up and looking smart. I would want you to make some comments. What would you say to young females in this sector I have coined HAT, hospitality, aviation, and tourism, in terms of their personal and professional appearance? Share with us.
I love that you see the questions today. I think this is the best question. And I'm saying this in all honesty. I think these questions are so spot on, honestly.
Thank you.
Um, Especially because of this industry. I was talking to somebody, it's almost as if you were at the conversation and then the questions came from there. Honestly, before the day after when I was coming back from work, I saw one of the cabin crews and I was just looking, I was like, this girl looks really smart, you know. And then I met a girl, she's like 16 and she's thinking of coming into the industry. And I told her, one of the things that you have to do in this industry is look good. You're literally you're like an ambassador of the company and the industry. A lot of people want to join the industry because of the way people look. It's not so much to be honest with you, one of the things why I think I'm really particular about dressing because one of the things that honestly, now that I think of it, is I remember seeing Air Vice Marshal Paul DK and he was looking very sharp. And it was, and that the way you dress, there's a way you carry yourself when you're looking very good. You just exude this energy. It just comes in. And I want to say this for anybody who is having, will I say, it's like I was going through somebody's page on Instagram. It was she transitioned. So she used to be a certain way, she transitioned. And what I noticed that when she transitioned to who she is now, and this is not me imposing any ideology of how anybody's supposed to look, but is that confidence? It doesn't matter if you're wearing an abaya, if you're wearing an abada, if you're wearing whatever your just put your best foot forward because people can see it. And you in yourself, you know that you put out that effort into looking that good. You would just exude this confidence. And I think that's one of the things people look out for in people in this industry. Oh, they look good, the way they carry themselves. Oh my God, you're in the aviation sector, there's an expectation. They used to do this thing. I don't know why or if they still do it, but I think it's something that people need to do. I don't even mind teaming up with a company that does this. It's poise classes. I remember back then, I hadn't joined the industry then, but I remember my dad used to mention then that they used to do this poise class in Ikeja, and they would teach them how, because the thing is, Nigeria is a very interesting country. God bless our country, Nigeria.
It has become wild and forget refinement and courtesy.
Oh my God, like the people on the road just driving in Nigeria, you're almost like you almost, if not, you have to call yourself to order most of the times, and you just remember that, okay, you know what, I'm not going to allow anybody, push me. But sometimes you lose. You guys know what? Let's be. You know what I'm saying.
Absolutely. You have to be intentional. If not, you will just become something else. Yeah,
Honestly,
definitely.
but
Yes.
those classes need to come back so that
Yeah, the
ladies are
etiquette, all that.
ethical.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
need to. I won't see anybody. I'm gonna. I literally. I won't sign up for one of them. How you're
You're
supposed. You're.
welcome to come to the ones that we do.
I didn't even know you do them. So now that I know, I'm glad. I'm honestly glad. Table
Fantastic.
manners, how to talk, how to, because you're going to run into people that are having bad days, people that have different cultural beliefs, and there's etiquette is applicable everywhere. When you're polite, it doesn't matter whether you speak Igbo, Yoruba, or Hausa. Everybody can see that, and that's one of
Yeah.
the things etiquette and poise classes teach you. How you sit down, how you carry yourself in public places. Don't just lose yourself and become an agbero, because in Nigeria,
Yeah,
these are things
absolutely. Yeah.
to
It
bring.
has to be
And
cultivated, it has to be learned. Yeah.
and you don't just
Yeah.
assume and think that you have those things and wait till you're
Yeah.
tested and realize that, oh, I'm not as well mannered and graceful as I really thought I was. These are,
Yeah.
it's the truth, because
Yeah.
our
Yeah, I agree.
industry, in the public, whether you like it or not, you're in the public. You're not like and especially in times like this where everything is recorded, and then you gotta
Yeah.
lose your mind, you know. I,
You show your true self. I know, I know.
in
It's
public,
better to be prepared, yes, and be
yeah,
aware. Absolutely, because
honestly,
people might not, blame you for using the wrong fork or whatever, but they will definitely find it bad if you're unrefined and you don't have that cost that's expected. Definitely, I can agree with you more. I can't really. So fantastic. Thank you so much for that, TK. Now, TK, coming to things that you are doing definitely and creating a lot of buzz there and impacting. I want to ask for you to share with us because you've said you're very passionate about young people and trying to impact on them. What has led to that aspect also and what you do today? Share with us.
that I feel that the question today,
It's
um,
all about you inspiring us.
this question hits home. You see, my emotions are going to change. I already know.
I feel you.
Ah, they're going to change. My passion for the youth, it comes from a deep place of, would I say, one is personal experience. And there are certain things I think from my personal experience. I happen to, I don't know if I would say this. I happen to be a very strong person. I didn't realize, I didn't know I was strong until that was like the only choice I had. I had to be strong and resilient. But there are people that don't have that elasticity. They don't have that capacity, or they don't know that they can build that capacity. And I think maybe when I see people who have gone through certain things that I went through, or I good. So if I've gone through something that was very challenging, very painful, even if it's let me go relationships, even if it was a
Right,
heartbreak,
right,
and I know that this is what led to that, and it was very painful for me. I don't want you to go through it. Why should I? That's so wicked of me. Like I know how painful it was. You
right.
know, somebody break my heart. Then I want you to go through the same thing. No, like I don't want you to feel that pain because I know how painful. I know if not, I probably lost myself. When you
Right.
when you experience heartbreaks, you it's almost I saw one of my pictures. I was like, who is this person? Because this is not me. If I show you with a picture, I wish I can bring it and show you. Be like, no, this is not.
You were
And I'm like,
going through something.
was going through something. You can even see like the structure of my face changed because during that period I wasn't smiling as much. As in, I'm looking at my face now and I can see I have cheeks. There's volume. There was none
Right.
of that. It was just like because of the pain and the struggle I was going through that time, and
Wow.
there's so many in and this happens in it could even in secondary school. I had challenges with friendship, these social skills. I would love people, but I didn't get that reciprocated to me. They would always maybe set up and try to
Be
people in
against
secondary
you.
against me, against me, and I was like, there was one time they were planning. As in, I don't want to spill it because I don't know. Some of them may come. Some people plan
Some
against
people go through that. It's part of the journey.
me.
And you keep wondering, what exactly did I do to them actually? But I'm such a nice person and I've been trying to be nice.
I thought it was nice. And at some point, you know what? That was at the beginning. I even got flogged before our exam because somebody lied against me. That's another story entirely.
You've had plenty adventure with you. That's why you're a strong woman now.
I'm a strong woman. Do you know now? These are things that people decide to commit suicide for
Yeah,
now.
yeah,
Back then, we
yeah,
didn't have social media. We didn't have access to all this information. So just
yeah.
imagine if I could. There was one time. If I tell you, there's certain things that looking back, and I was like, oh my god. If this wasn't managed, I don't know what I would have done because it was a lot. And at that time, I didn't have the knowledge and the experience that I have now to manage. Say, oh, okay, this is what was going on at the time. So
Right,
at some point in secondary school, I made up my
right,
mind. I said, no, he's going to do this to me again, and I'm going to show
right.
these people. God is going to make sure. I don't know how he's going to do it. That I'm going to be celebrated in front of everybody that did me wrong. That was a
Wow,
turning point in secondary school, and I
wow.
was graduating secondary school. I got awarded, and I was like, yes, this is back to every one of you that did me wrong. So that was secondary school. Oh. Even in primary school, there
Right.
was if,
So, my dear audience, there's a glitch there. Sometimes when there's a call, tries to.
sorry about
Okay.
that.
Yeah, no, no, no problem, no problem.
So
Right. So with that, you are saying that helped you to sort of be concerned about young people and wanted to help.
yes, because I felt like if somebody maybe told me that, oh, this, if they told me, okay, this was what I was going through, this is how to handle it, maybe I would have handled it better, you know. And I just felt, okay, I have learned from this. I can take something. I think that's why the Kardashians are very successful in what they do because they
Mm,
know how to have it. And I'm not promoting any lifestyle. What I'm saying is,
right,
I'm taking something good out of what they have been able to do. They know how to
right.
turn every negative to a, like they know how to
The
turn every to
advantage,
the
the
advantage.
advantage.
Exactly. And that is really what I decided to do. I'm like, okay, you guys
Right,
did what you did, no problem. And
right,
somehow, something I got awarded in front of, and I was like, yes. But I thought that
right.
was the end of my challenges in life. Was I so wrong?
Maturity makes you see that you might have been, and it wasn't maybe necessary with time, isn't it?
Honestly.
Fantastic. No, great,
Yeah.
great. So, with that as well, TK, following on that, anybody that sees you with all these fantastic things you're doing, two careers, lawyer, everything seems smooth and sailing.
Mm.
Please bring us back to reality. What are some of the challenges? Like we say, they are not really challenges, they are opportunities for growth that any young female might expect to face, whether it's as a lawyer, but specifically because we are talking in this sector now as a pilot. Please share with us.
Some of the challenges, unemployment is one. Finances and training is another. Competition, uncertainties, you not being sure of yourself. Challenges. Okay, so some challenges are things that you can work on. So that's say for example, if you're trying to write an exam and you haven't passed, that's a challenge. But it's something you can work on because you just need to get more knowledge. That's a personal challenge. Now there are challenges outside. So for example, COVID happened. That's a challenge that you don't have personal
Any
control over.
control over. Yeah.
Exactly. Or company policies and culture. So each company has its own unique policy. Each company has its own culture. You're going to run into people that don't like you. That's the truth. And that's a challenge because if they don't like you, they may not want to favor you, especially if it's in the power to do certain things that,
Yeah.
could impact
Wrong
your
practices. Yes.
exactly.
Your
But
moral compass. Yeah.
exactly. Nonetheless, you have to be determined. You have to be resilient. You have to know why you're here. So good. Why when I started, I wasn't really I used to be a very what I would say I wasn't really an Instagram person. Let me put it that way. Because I wasn't
Okay.
really into taking because I felt like Instagram was just you wear a nice dress, do your makeup, do your hair, all of that. Yeah, those things are great. They're nice as ladies, you show all of that, but it wasn't really me. I'm more of like
Right.
talking and speaking into your soul and impacting and all of that. But
Right.
during COVID, we weren't working. I was at home. I had
Yeah.
all this time. There was no work, no flying. And God specifically told me go on Instagram Live, specifically. And I was like, how do I go on
Fantastic.
Instagram Live? Because I don't have like a functional Instagram page. So now I have to start putting in content. I'm like, okay, so
Right.
what kind of content am I going to put? Because I'm not really into like taking pictures and doing this and all of that. But
Right.
I had to start digging, and I think that's where you now start all these other skills come into play. If I didn't already, this skill was already like the speaking and all of that was already in me, but the
Right.
opportunity. Because for example,
Right.
today, when we spoke in the morning, I was on my way to the office. I came
Right.
back. I had another place.
Right.
Um, where I speak to some children. It's a school. So I had
Right.
gone there and I looked at the time. I was like, oh, I have a speaking engagement for 6. I came
Right.
back, changed, and that's me using all the talents. This is like the story in the Bible of the talents. You
Yeah.
have a certificate. Maybe, for example, some people have gotten their licenses and they're not employed. Find a
Right.
way to create employment in the industry. Don't wait to. Every pilot is so different. There are some that all they have to do is take off and land and go home. That's not me. Me, I take off and land. I impact. I come on Instagram. I impact. I help people to build their skills, to think of how to create employment, create jobs in the industry. So now I'm thinking, oh, I want to be more poised. Why don't I not just get trained, but see how I can collaborate with other companies that do that and bring that back to the sector? That's a job opportunity there. And if you're a licensed cabin, so say for example you're licensed or you have a certificate in this industry, but you're not employed, why don't you look for working for free or for stipends to companies that already exist so you can build your experience because it's going to be on your CV anyways. Or think of how you can collaborate with other people in the industry. What can I do for these people? How can I create solutions? Okay, I know what it feels like to be unemployed. How can I create solutions for other people who are unemployed? Don't just think. So I started thinking outside myself. I think about other people, and that inevitably helps me. Because now, since
Fantastic.
yesterday, I was just thinking about this. I literally checked for some etiquette schools, and just
Right.
imagine you answered that. So those are things
Fantastic.
that I would really like to
Want to
share.
migrate it from fantastic. Now, of course, TK, you've gone through a particular educational system. You're working with youth. You're seeing some of their problems and all. Can you also share with us what is the kind of learning experience you have, and you also then to see that other young people will get that might be missing here? Share with us the comparison.
Very good question again. So I've
Sorry, I think a call was trying to come in on her side. There's a bit of a
coming in. That's why.
no,
It's
no
okay. I'm like,
problem. I understand. Yes, please go on. Yes,
but So my learning experience, I've had formal and informal learning experiences. They're both important, but I think I have learned more. Good. I want to say this. The most important thing I want to say right now is you need to, we weren't taught how to learn. To school, that didn't
mm,
teach you how to learn.
mm,
It's like a lot of people. read books, but they don't know how to keep that knowledge, how to stop. I'm going to a reading. I started it. I haven't fully enrolled, but I've started it technically because
Right.
there's this person I follow on Instagram who knows
Okay.
how to read and remember like lots of words, and that's something that I need to know because I need
Right.
reading, and it's almost like you don't have enough time. And
Right.
knowledge is, if you don't like to read, then there's only so much success you can get, because what reading
Right.
allows you to do is get the knowledge of people who have walked in in the shoes you want to walk into. So you
Right.
in that book, they have packed all the knowledge, all the experience, everything that you're yearning to get,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you have to it's a speed reading class or reading
Right.
course, but now I
Right.
have finished formal learning, and now I am it's like personal development per se, but it's more about learning how to learn. So for example, on Instagram, I'm learning how to monetize my knowledge. I had to pay for a course like that. I'm learning how to promote my page on Instagram. Those are things that I have to learn. Yes, I have the passion to impact the youth, but I need to learn about the youth. I need to learn about their
Yeah.
problems. I need to learn
All the
about
digital skills. Yeah.
digital
Yeah.
skills. Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So those
Yeah. Yeah.
learning is it just continues till you say goodbye to the earth. You go to
To the 6 inches grade. Really.
exactly.
Fantastic. So of course we look forward to seeing that. Now, TK, I would want you also to say, what would you say to policymakers and those in the education space within I know there's a lot we're all concerned. We can't say it all, but something nice so that we can encourage them to, let's see what can be done to improve. Really. Please share with us.
Another good question. I think for me, I want policymakers to give the youth an opportunity. The school I am with now, what I love is that we enroll the students as employees during their training and after, because we believe that they have and they can build that skill. I want policymakers to look into passing the baton. You know, don't. There's no joy in making people go through what you're going through. That's just. I want to say something nice. So I'm not,
Be nice, TK, please be nice tonight.
hand it over to the next generation. Make things easier.
Right.
um yeah, make things easier, emulate success wherever that success is. If you see people in Japan and China and how knowledgeable and excellent they are, we have the same brain. What makes up my brain makes up their brain. So if they're able to do what they're doing, then I know that I can't do the same thing. So all
Yeah.
we need to do is emulate their policies, emulate what they're doing there, and pass on the baton, hand it over to
Fantastic.
we're able.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Yeah, TK, coming down and wrapping up, even though if you have still a few questions to ask Anom, you are a Mrs. and a married person. Would you say a pilot, not necessarily a commercial pilot, should have like a plan B? Why or why not?
Did you say, should I have a plan B?
Yes, should a pilot have a plan B in terms of career, whether you are married or not married? What will you say?
So in my case, it depends. In my case,
Okay,
there's people that have a plan A and it works for them.
right.
For me, my personality, I cannot just do one thing. As a
Yeah,
person,
serial, enterprise persons.
I my momentum. But I know somebody who just did one thing technically,
Right,
and the
right.
person just aced it. Like that is it. So,
Fantastic.
for women,
Mm,
I think you should have multiple options. I
right,
think you should
right.
personally. I know that there are people who have had one and they have excelled, but
Right.
let's see. If there's something else you can do, do it. And don't think good. So don't think that you have to start perfect. So say for example, this Instagram live. Today
Right.
it looks like we only have 3 people, 2 people, 5 people, 8 people, 20 people. It doesn't matter. It
Right.
literally doesn't matter. Start where you are. I remember when I did my first Instagram live session, I was so scared. I was like, oh my God, people? How are they going to react? And I used to focus so much on the numbers. And I was like, no, it's not about the numbers. It's about the
Right.
impact. It's about
Right.
the value that you're putting. And the thing
Yeah.
about Instagram Live is it's saved, so other people can watch the replay. So they may not be able to watch it at the time when it's
Yeah.
being broadcast, but they can watch the replay. So whatever you are, wherever you are, don't say it's because of money. A lot of people say, "Oh, I cannot start that plan B because I don't have money."
Right.
Start. Just start. The phone, even some people say, "Oh, I can't be on Instagram because of my phone." Do you know the phone I'm using? You guys don't know the phone I'm using.
In short, don't look at anything. Just do it. Kill
Just
the
do
fear
it.
and do it. I like
I'm like,
that. I
my
like
makeup
that.
I did on my face. I had to do my makeup, and the makeup, the way I do my eyebrows, like, Tinike, what's this? Yeah.
It's the content and the stuff inside that they want to hear. Not, some people are not going to look at that. Of course, of
Thank
course.
you.
Oh, thank you so much, TK. Now, TK, I want to quote something you said, and to share with us why you said so. You said somewhere along in an interview or so, you said your diversity is your selling point in the marketplace. Just all your certificates and stay current in all fields as much as you can. But make sure you find ways to make them profitable. Share with us why did you say so? I'm sure it's related to some of the things you have said so far.
Very, very good. Another very good. Diversity is key because, for example, there are a lot of people who have studied banking. There's a lot of people who have studied economics, all of them. But what makes you different? Why should they employ you? Why are you different? What value are you bringing to that company, to that industry that is going to make you? Because me, when I go somewhere, I want to dominate. That's the truth. I think maybe that's anyways. I want to go there and dominate. Like I must be the best. I may not start off like at the top, but see, you see that finish line, I will finish it and I will be first. I must. That is just
Fantastic.
my determination. Honestly,
Fantastic.
the only reason why I always think of, okay, so even as a pilot, I'm like, okay, what other value can I bring to this company? What challenges, what are people saying about this company, and what
Right.
solutions can I? Because today I was thinking, I was in the airplane, and I was like, oh, I know this is a challenge that this company is having. Why? Because okay, me, I'm into social media. Why don't I bring the ideas? Even the funny thing is, it doesn't even matter if it's a company, even a friend. Like I'll just be like,
Yeah.
why can't you do this? Do this different thing now. See this person. This. And sometimes people be
Yeah.
like, what's this girls? You self, but I want you to be better because I feel like
Yeah.
I want you to
Yeah.
do the same thing to me. I want you to
Yeah.
also. There has to because you just have to be better. You have, and that being better is my. I'm not just thinking of okay. I'm just in the aviation sector. Okay, I have
Yeah.
law. Okay, how can we bring apply structures and systems into this aviation industry? We've flown
Right.
all around. This is what is happening there. Things are so much better. How can we implement those policies? How can we
Yeah.
adopt that? How can we raise our standard? How can we make this a better experience for and all of those things come from the experiences I've had in with relating with the youth, with
Yeah.
my background in law. So even if, like I said, you may be unemployed now, you like sewing and you read
Yeah.
accounting, why don't you be an accountant for a fashion designer? You put the two
Right.
together
I love that. What a cocktail.
with a
What a
cocktail.
cocktail. I love it. I love it.
That
Fantastic, fantastic. Wow. Now, TK, if I may ask you, if you could change something to do with your career path and choice, what will that be?
nothing to be
Oh, the place to be. Nothing. This is the place to be. Fantastic, fantastic. You would leave it all over again.
yeah.
Fantastic, fantastic. I think you just made my day and answer that. There's nothing else to add to that as well. Now, let me ask you also, because this platform also wants to make sure we inspire a lot of young female people. If you had any female in front of you now that is like thinking of, her dream, is it valid or not? What would you say, about dreaming to such a female in the aviation sector?
I have a I have this thing that I got. It's a little picture frame, and it has a
Okay.
word inside. It says "Dream on, girl." It's inside my wardrobe. So anytime I look into my wardrobe, I
Yeah.
read it to my so I anytime it doesn't matter how I'm feeling. Once I see
Right.
that my mood changes,
Right.
keep dreaming. Whatever your dreams are, they are very valid, and they're as
Right.
valid as the person that is in the person you are. Don't it doesn't matter what anybody says or thinks. And I think a lot of us, especially in Nigeria, our culture, because we I don't know if it's respect or what I don't know what to call it. We allow people project their expectations on us and we start to live that. We start to
Right.
and many times we now start living below what we're
Hmm.
actually capable of becoming.
Hmm.
So let people's expectations lower your dreams or your or validate. Don't let your country, don't let anybody, don't let anything invalidate your dreams. Whatever your
Right.
dreams are, as weird as they may seem, people are going to the moon now and coming back, and I'll be going to space and
Exactly.
coming back. Like
Exactly.
dream it. Dream
Right.
anything you're dreaming about is so
Yeah.
so valid. Whatever you think you
Fantastic.
want to be is very valid. But the truth is that
Fantastic.
there's a sense of responsibility in your dreams. In as much as those dreams are there and it's inside of you, you have a responsibility to take that dream and make it a reality. If I woke up this morning and said, "Oh, I don't feel too well. I don't want to stand up. Blah 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 blah. The world is so this. The government, the boss, girl, everybody is going through that. Even in the nicest and the best of economies, they have challenges too. So you just have to
Fantastic.
be bold, courageous, take that step and do what you have to do.
Fantastic. Now,
Yeah.
TK, do you think we have enough female pilots? Encourage us if you still feel we still need more.
I mean, I think we have well, the truth is that I actually, this is a little selfish, let me be honest. I don't think we have a lot, but I
Okay.
actually like that we are few because it makes us unique.
Right.
That's a bit selfish. There's room for a lot more. We don't have a lot, and I think it's not
Fantastic.
so much of the number. It's just the desire and the capacity, the belief that we can do the profession. I think that's what makes
Fantastic.
it so too. And
Fantastic.
in my I think with my experience exactly because a lot of people, oh, how can you run your home? I ran into a lady, she's so sweet, and she was like, oh, it was me and my husband, and she said, oh, what if you're a pilot? So how do you manage your home? I'm like, we see each other too much. We see like we're always because the truth is we're next door, our offices are next door to each other. If he's going to
Right.
work and I go to work with him, I come back to pick
Right.
him. We're
Right.
always together. And
Amazing.
and the thing is, the job is not like you wake up. I think people that go to 9 to 5 don't even see each other as much as we see each other because
Yeah.
sometimes you have a roster, you go to work by 5 or 6 a.m. and you come back home by 1 p.m.
Yeah. Yeah.
So much
Amazing.
time off days. It's not as if you have to work like back to back to
Yeah.
back. So we
Yeah.
have time.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Wow. Now, TK, what will you say to married people, that are thinking of this particular profession? What will you say they should, you know, um, consider? Sorry, I think a call was coming in. My dear audience, I hope you are still there. It's been fantastic talking to our guest today. I know we have spent quite a lot of time here this evening. We will soon wrap up. It's been interesting listening to her. Let's see if she joins us back with this speech that has come. But TK has said many things. TK is a commercial pilot and a lawyer for the benefit of those of you just joining us. And she's been sharing her career journey and experiences with us as well. I guess she had to log off. I hope she will be able to log back in so that we will down, wrap up for the evening and hear from us and hear from her. She's a commercial pilot and a lawyer as well, and she's been sharing her experience and some of the things that have stood out. Many things really. She's very passionate also about impacting on youth. She's had to develop all sorts of skills to get her where she is. She talked about the fact that professional appearance is important. She has shared with us her flying experience in the school as well. And she has told us, of course, being a pilot and starting that career hasn't been cheap, but there are good schools and good places that help you to instrumentally pay and get your training done as well. So it's been fantastic listening to her. I hope she will be able to log back and be with us again so that we can now wrap up for the evening. Let me see if she's here. Join us back again. Please be on mute. While I check, I see if she's still here with us so that I can bring her back on board. Here we go. Oh, no problem. TK, let me just invite you back. We understand we are just going to try to wrap up. No problem. I hope it's still okay for you to log back on for us to wrap up for the evening. Let me see if we get you back there. Can you hear me, TK? I've sent you the request to join me live again. Let's see if you are able to. I hope there are no issues. I will try again now and see. Okay. If you can hear me, I just sent you the request. Let's see if you get back live again with us. My dear audience, bear with us. Okay,
I'm
fantastic.
sorry.
TK, no, not at all. You know, I told you we could have such things, so no problems at all. Welcome
This
back.
one, all that a call came in. That's
I
why.
guessed as much, so no problem. So you were answering something just before you left. I'm not sure where we were at that point in time, but let me just ask you at this point, what are two things you would like, to see change in aviation, maybe especially for women, really?
Be nicer to each other.
Right, 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 right.
I just want to apologize to everybody that lost me. Sorry about that.
Yes,
But
I done that. Okay.
the truth is that I have met some captains who, female captains, they were so nice. Like they even told me about communities that I should join, and they cheer you on. They're so nurturing, and they just want to. It's almost like they want to hand over what they have
Fantastic,
achieved. I want.
fantastic.
There's one captain I want to mention that anytime I think about this, she's
Yeah,
so nice,
fantastic.
so nice.
No, TK, yes, go ahead, because that's going to now take me to the next question to do with that. Go ahead, please. Yes, yes, yes.
So I think that we should just kind of be so that people don't keep getting this notion that women are always mean to each other.
Nasty and of course, yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah.
it's not we shouldn't give them reason to say it's true. We should just be nicer to each other, honestly. In any
I like
capacity,
that.
yes, let's try and be nicer. It's not easy. Um, we should still be professional. It doesn't stop you from being professional, but just be nice. Be kinder. Be willing to help the other person, come up
To
because
lift other people up.
to lift other people up because you started from somewhere. You didn't start from the top. You know,
Absolutely. And
you have that.
somebody, helped you up the ladder.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
what position that ladder is now doesn't even matter. It's just you're somewhere and then somebody's trying to get there. Lift the person up. You
Yeah.
don't come by lifting somebody up. The truth is, I
Yeah.
always tell people there's this captain that was telling me some of the people he trained, they are in
Right.
different airlines all around the world. He's not a captain flying, or he's not even he's past he's past 60 now, but it gives you
Right.
so much joy that I was part of that person's success story.
Success. Yeah.
Yes, I think
I
that's
love it.
something that
I love it. And TK, as we wrap up with one or two questions there, I want to ask what I ask my guests all the time, and you sort of fast forwarded. I like a quote that I got from Oprah that says, I come as one, but I stand as 10,000. Who are those that make up your own 10,000 for you? Share with us.
uh,
At least some of them, I'm sure it's an endless list.
well, my husband is number one. My husband is number one.
Fantastic. A shout out and kudos. That's it. I've never heard that on my program. It's always mommy or daddy. So this is really my first husband response I've heard. This is fantastic. Fantastic. Great. Great.
Uh, My friends. I'm not going to mention my family because I think that's like technically acceptable. But my husband, there's a reason why I mentioned him. There's a reason why. But
Give me a romantic answer. I'm very romantic. I'm sure it's romantic that you're trying to see how you're going to say this thing.
he believed in me when nobody else did, and that made me
Fantastic.
believe in myself a lot more.
Fantastic.
I want to get emotional. I don't want to start crying, but there was a time in my life when I was like, I didn't even know who I was.
Right.
And he was that person that just said, don't you realize that this is who you are? Like, you know? So,
Fantastic. Fantastic.
oh,
Fantastic.
no, no. But
Fantastic.
I think he's my 10,000 actually. Every other person comes.
Fantastic. Wow. Here is the he she in the house. I love it. I love it. I love it. Fantastic. Fantastic. Greetings to that wonderful, he she in the house there. Great. Now, TK, before I say thank you, I want to ask, where should we expect to see the commercial pilot stroke lawyer in the next X years?
Hey,
Disruptive. Tell us.
so celebrity pilot extraordinaire. It'll be nice
Fantastic.
to have my own airline, but if I'm not flying mine, I would like to fly for Emirates, Qatar, or Etihad. So in case you're watching, they come on your Instagram live, you guys should hit me up. I'll gladly.
Fantastic.
Would like to fly the Airbus. I currently fly the Boeing 737 Classic, but I
Okay.
really do want to fly the Airbus. I don't know what I can't
About
explain
it,
why.
but it's
I just
inside
want to
your blood that it has to be done. I like that.
fly, yes, fly internationally. I currently fly
Okay.
within Nigeria, so it'd be nice to go from country to country and preferably
Fantastic.
continents too.
Great.
Um, I want to be known as a world leader. I want to be like Oprah and Linda Ikeji. I know a lot of people say this. Now
Right.
the difference here for me is uh these women have been able to, if I believe that if somebody has achieved something, somebody else
Right.
can.
Yeah.
The hardest part is actually the first person that does it because the person has to
Right.
go through the rigorous process of finding the how. But if somebody
Right.
has already done it, it's easier to find what their system is. Success
Yeah.
leaves clues. I will go into and find out what their clues are and achieve
Right.
it. And there are a
Right.
lot of people that I look up to. I don't just want to be a successful person in my career. I want total life success. So my spiritual life, my
Fantastic.
family, marriage, my health, my relationship, every single thing, has to be a
Top
success.
notch. Top notch.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So, TK,
So
what do you want? Yes. You said something?
I think this is one of my best Instagram live sessions.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. So, TK,
I don't
so that it's not just the two of us that have benefited and had a wonderful conversation, can you please tell us what two or three key things you want to leave with the females that will be listening or have listening this evening from our conversation today? Share with us, please, before we wrap up.
the first thing, love yourself. If you don't love yourself, nobody will. And
Right.
self-love is a very important thing in success. It doesn't matter what your success is, you must love yourself. Number two is set healthy boundaries and respect yourself. The
Right.
way you treat yourself is the way people are going to treat you, especially in this industry. If you belittle yourself, you make yourself very cheap. If you think the way to get to the top is between your left leg and your right leg, what you will see at the end. So you have the capacity to read. I didn't start off, being excellent. I found people who were excellent. I learned from them, and I determined to be excellent. I didn't really like reading so much. I would read and I'm like, I don't understand what's going on here. But I was determined to succeed. So I had to learn how to learn. I had to determine to read. Sometimes I want to sleep, but I need to read. So I have to stay up and read. So love yourself, respect yourself, and love others. Because
Fantastic.
inevitably in life, it's not about you, it's about what you do for others too. So Yeah,
Wow,
that's my.
fantastic. TK, thank you so much for this time spent this evening. And like I said, I'm bringing you out again physically to inspire more people because we can't, talk about all these things enough, really. So, my dear audience, what has TK told us today? Many things. But there are some things that I just want to finish up on that. I like quotes to end of that. I think TK just said now that she didn't start with success, but she learned it, and that's why she's where she is today. Fantastic. And Tiki has talked about so many things to do with standards she has learned, excellence she has learned, and also uplifting people and trying to be the voice for those that didn't have a voice as well. Wonderful, wonderful. Last week, I was saying also a particular quote, and I think that same quote I'm going to use today because I love quotes for me. They just wrap it up very nicely. And one that comes to my mind, just thinking of Tiki, and I hope she has helped you to see that your dreams are valid, is the fact that if you can dream it, then you can do it. Definitely. And beside that, we might say today that, when we met TK, something else has changed in our life today. So there's a quote I love, and that says, when I met him, I was looking down. But when I left him, I was looking up. I hope that many of you are looking up there. And I love that quote. If you don't know it, go and check my Instagram page that TK has said, so that no woman has any point or any right to be down. We are supposed to be high up there. So please, I hope today TK has inspired you that your place is high up there. So don't remain down below from today. So TK, thank you so much for your time, amazing answers, sharing your time today. I know it's a busy period, and I want to say thank you to everybody that has logged in up to this time. You are just all amazing. Thank you so much for not leaving us alone in this conversation. Thank you. God bless. Kashipo, Odara, and wherever you are, good night and have a blessed evening. Bye for now. So TK, I'll get in touch with you behind the scenes after this. Bye. Okay, then.